Good outing for Ed Miliband today. We're right back in the thick of combative and aggressive Prime Minister's questions after a rather calmer period after Christmas. This was how Ed Miliband concluded his argument that basically the taxpayer was shortchanged by the Royal Mail sale.
This is a sale nobody wanted and nobody voted for. A national asset sold at a knockdown price to make a fortune for the few.
He described it somewhat more pithily earlier in the exchanges.
Mates rates to his friends in the city.
And it was reinforced by a bit of a good old-fashioned teasing. We haven't heard this for a while.
He's gone as red as a postbox, and that's because he knows that he's lost £1.4 billion for the taxpayer.
And Ed Miliband's joke writers were at it again too.
Not so much the Wolf of Wall Street, more the dunce of Downing Street.
Everyone seems to think that's genius. I'm certainly outvoted. I wasn't persuaded, but Twitter thought it was tremendously amusing. David Cameron was pretty confident too, actually. I mean, if Ed Miliband likes to characterise or indeed caricature, the Prime Minister would say, David Cameron as being in the back pocket of business, then he has his own picture of the Labour leader that he likes to wheel out.
We know why he's asking these questions. Because he is paid to by the trade unions.
If you're scratching your head and thinking, well, that's a bit of a sweeping assertion, he's backing it up by the fact that Labour did try to undergo the same privatisation of Royal Mail, but were, of course, beaten back by the unions at the time. That's the argument that underlies what David Cameron was saying. He did slightly overreach himself at one point, responding to the Labour leader.
Just then, Mr. Speaker, it's a sale nobody wanted. It was in his manifesto. It was a commitment of the last government.
You could see Ed Miliband turning to Ed Ball say, well, it wasn't in the manifesto, was it? And actually, no, it wasn't. You can still look at that 2010. Here's a blast from the past. You see the sunlit uplands of what was supposed to be that Gordon Brown-led government. You can still look at the manifesto there, and it does talk about public ownership at that point. They had been beaten back from that privatisation argument. But David Cameron did manage to pin Ed Miliband to the back foot once or twice.
I will take a lecture from almost anyone in the country about the sale of Royal Mail, but not from the two muppets who advised the last Chancellor on selling the gold.
So for me, Ed Miliband just edged it today because both men were on strong form, but David Cameron did get that wrong. He was a little bit trying to think on his feet and a touch scattergun.